this concept of measuring your workout success for the day, or in general, based on how much sweat output you have, essentially. And all I'm going to say about this, you got it completely wrong, because how much you perspirate has really nothing to do with the success of your workout, or in that matter, like, how much, on what tier or level in your mind, of a scale of 1 to 10, you succeeded in your workout, or how you measure up against the people that you may be working out with, or the people that are in your close proximity in general. Like if you're in the gym but you're working out by yourself, or you're at home and you're working out by yourself. And also maybe, if you're taking some kind of group exercise class and you have somebody in front, your trainer, giving you the instructions on all the moves and so forth. And don't measure yourself by neither the people around you, and definitely also not by the trainer up in the front, right? um, and especially when it comes to like on demand type of workouts, where you essentially like work out with somebody on the screen. But just in general too, like, because everybody's sweat output naturally is completely different from person to person, right? And then the other thing is, what is your environment like? Meaning, um is it more humid? Is it just really hot? Is it dry, like a dry, low humidity environment? Do you have a breeze blowing through? Is there a fan on? Is the AC on? Are you under the sun, right? Are you under superficial, like bright lighting? So all these factors are playing a role. And then, of course, in addition to that, like, what did you eat in the last 24 hours, or right before your workout? How hydrated are you? Um, Before your workout, during your workout, did you get a good night's sleep? Like, how was your level of performance, like, at the beginning or right before the workout, during and after, right? So you have all these individual factors that play into how much you actually sweat. And a lot of times people think, if they don't have the same perspiration as their trainer in the front, or their best friend next to them, they think like they didn't do a good job. People generally think that, oh, their workout either was not maybe as good as somebody else's, or their performance level was not the same as everybody else's. And they almost feel like, okay, I totally could have done better. I clearly, blew this one, right? Because you're measuring it up against some really individual, environmental, artificial, natural, like, environment, right? Everybody's different. And the only way to really measure your level of performance when it comes to your workout is tracking. It truly is tracking. And it's also not like, a measurement of like, oh, I didn't give it my all today. You probably did. It was just a different kind of workout. Maybe you did lifting workout yesterday. Today you did cardio only, or a combination, or like all these different types of workouts that there are. Um, and some days you perspirate more than others, and that has to do with all these different circumstances that I just mentioned, as well as the workout itself. And really, the only thing is, like, when you repeat certain types of workouts, track them. Oh, like, regardless, progress is measured by being able to track it. So if you do lifting workouts, and you find yourself like every 5 to 6 days, or every week at least, doing the same or similar workout, then track it. Like, how many reps did you do? Um, how many reps, and how much was the weight that you used? Did you, lighter, heavier, maybe did more reps, less reps, like less reps, but maybe heavier weights, or lighter weights, more reps, or you did a different tempo, but you really focused on form and you were able to lift heavier, right? So a lot of times when we have workouts that especially when they're combination moves, like we can, if it's a two combo type of thing, if it's like lower and upper body, then obviously we can probably lift more weights with our lower body, but we can lift the same amount over a head, right? So keep that in mind. So you always want to focus and gear towards the lighter weight type of workout in your combo moves. I don't particularly like them. I do them, and sometimes they're really great. When you feel like you need to do almost like a, like a cardio type with lifting sort of workout, because then you get your weights in, but you also get that cardio. But you go lighter just naturally because you're probably gonna move a little faster than if it's just a pure weight type of workout. And I sometimes really like them. I just recently started doing like very sort of like weight focused types of workouts. And and there are not a lot of moves, like, and I know, like, I am doing, and I have done in the past, like doing lots of like sort of workouts that have, you know 2 to 3 blocks, and then each block has like 4 moves, and and each block, the moves are different, and they change up and sort of thing. And I think they're also all great because you get to really target sort of like upper or lower body with different moves in one workout, and I think that's really really great. And sometimes you have reps to, for the moves. Sometimes you just go by time, like 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, with like minimal rest in between and all that sort of thing. And those are great, and sometimes I do have to admit, I find myself like, oh man, I need a little bit more rest time in between. um or I feel like it's moving too fast. So recently I started like foregoing some of that, and actually going like, okay, I'm gonna do maybe like 4 different moves, but I will really focus in on it, right? And use heavier weights, um but really focus on the form, really focus on like the body mind connection, really paying attention to what am I really working out right now, and using actually heavier weights, because I can really um you know focus in on the actual exercise move that I'm doing, and it allows me to lift heavier because I know I'm not like catching up with somebody in front of me, or like I'm just really like moving along at my own pace, right? And I think it's really helpful because it lets you work on your form. It lets you really like focus in on the exercise move by itself, and make a really great connection with that mind body thing, right? Like, I'm working out my legs, but I'm actually focusing on the quads, or I'm focusing more on the hamstrings and that sort of thing. So you will find your heart rate going up with those types of situations. Hello. um and you're going to be out of breath, especially when you lift heavy, because like, it almost feels like you're doing a cardio workout, but you're not, because your heart rate spikes, right? um but you might not necessarily have like that sweat equity that in your mind maybe uh measures a mediocre workout from a great workout. And I really want you to like truly get away from that, because like I said, sweat equity does not equal your level of output in when it comes to exercising. Again, I already mentioned all the factors that play into it. So but really like measure in that aspect, like measure your um success of the workout by, when you're lifting weights, like I said, track your weights, track your reps, track, whatever component goes along with that. And then when it comes to like cardio types of workouts, or hit type of workouts, how long can you do this move or the exercise at hand before you have to take a break, right? Maybe it's like a timing issue more, so that track it by that way. Or maybe reps if you do like lots of push-ups or jump squats or high knees or whatever it is. Like measure it like according to like the reps or just by time and how long before you have to actually take a break, because all those things are measurable and more realistically measurable than just how much did you sweat today, because what was the weather like, like all those circumstances play a role. So do not get confused by sweat equals output or success, because again, that's so, if that varies so much. Like, don't do that to yourself, because you're truly gonna drive yourself crazy. So I want to come on and tell you that, because um sort of like popped into my head as I was finishing my workout for today. So just keep that in mind. Thanks for watching. If it at all relates to you, like you can make a connection with this, and and maybe you found yourself thinking about this type of situation before, or like maybe someone you work out with thought about it before and you had talked about it, maybe send them this message, and leave me a comment below to see if you can relate at all. So you guys have a great rest of your day and keep on working.